Hey, what is up guys? It's your boy Speed here, and today I'm going to be going over an Enigma game I just recently played in Ranked. This is on my 9700 MMR account, and I'm going to be walking you through kind of just my general thought process while playing Enigma. Now, the main reason I picked Enigma, and honestly the biggest reason I pick Enigma currently in pubs, is a response to Undying. Undying as a hero in the lane is pretty impossible to trade with. However, if you can manipulate the creep wave and avoid Undying altogether, it's honestly not too bad. The lane's not great or anything like that. Like TA Undying, I wouldn't say it's easy for Enigma, but I do have a Tiny as well, and I think Tiny Enigma is one of the best combos in the game, and I was against Undying. So I had a Tiny, and I was against Undying, so I'm like, okay, perfect game for Enigma. Also, I want to tell you guys that if you've been struggling with solo queue and you're looking to get to the next rank, I'm going to be able to help you. Like, literally, with the GameLeap website, I'm going to give you guys guides that are going to make it unbelievably clear on what you need to do. So if you've been stuck in the solo queue grind, you don't know what to do, and you want to become absolutely broken, but like actually you want to become much better at Dota, and you want to take it more seriously, the GameLeap website is going to help you do that. So click the link down below, I'm going to help you get to the next rank, and I'll see you there. Now, right off the bat, because the lane is difficult, I'm going to be manipulating the wave in a way that's going to get the wave back, right? That's going to bring it towards my tower. Does that make sense? Because I'm trying to create a situation where I can avoid the Undying. So I actually don't go for the rune, I instantly sack the range creep. I have very high damage items just so I can last hit. This hero, it's pretty hard to last hit as Enigma. The Eidolons are a little bit weird. And then intentionally, I let one of the melee creeps go. And basically what's gonna happen is, well, I'll just show you. It's much easier if I just show you. So this creep's gonna go ahead alone, right? I tell my Tiny not to block it. It's gonna die right away. Tiny actually denies it. Well played on his part. And then I let another one of them go, so I split the last two up as well. And Tiny's going to be able to deny that one as well, which is pretty funny, but actually really good. And now the lane usually would static here for a bit, and the Undying would be able to zone us off, right? We can't trade with him. Even if I have Eidolons, we can't trade with him. However, if I can get the lane back like this, then it's not really a problem, because I'm so close to my tower where, yeah, he can deny some of the creeps and he can be annoying, but my second sack comes back up and I can actually take some of the melee creeps under tower. So plays like this and strategies like this can really separate you from, you know, the other players in your bracket, because most people just don't think about or even know these types of things, or I don't know, just even consider them. So yeah, I'm able to last it under tower here, get most of the CS, almost all of them, and 5-2 is honestly great. The TA is only 2-0, I'm 5-2, we're off to an incredible start in the lane. I honestly think my only mistake in the lane is potentially, no, not really here. I deny the wave pretty hard. Deny the wave, we get some good damage on TA. The only issue, okay, so this is one issue. So one of the main issues of this lane ends up being right here. Our kill attempt ends up being kind of bad. So I aggro deny, which I'm happy with. I want to keep the lane back. I don't even care if I have a creep disadvantage, like, because it just doesn't really matter. I'm not looking to trade that hard. We do go pretty hard here, and it was honestly a mistake, because it puts the range creep in deny range, the avalanche that is. And on top of that, because I also join in this play, instead of these creeps killing this and then killing this range creep, they actually aggro onto me, which causes the wave to shove, because this doubles up, right? This doubles up, these range creeps double up, and this gets denied, or contested at least, right? And so we go from a position of we can keep the lane under the tower, which is broken with Tiny, because he could have toss. Honestly, I really don't think he needed to skill Avalanche. I think he honestly could have just skilled Toss, sat in the trees here with me CSing the wave and threatening Toss back. And I think that would have made the lane completely unplayable for the TA or the Undying. So I think honestly a bit of a mistake from him going in there and a mistake from me for following. They push it back in, which is good, but we don't have Toss, unfortunately, so we kind of lack a bit of kill threat. Either way, not going to focus too much on this point in the lane. I'm just last hitting under tower, as I can't static the wave outside of the tower. That's just not going to happen. So coming up here is classic Enigma Tiny. Basically, the only thing you need to know if you're going to play this hero is you want to be building up 6 Eidolons. And how you get 6 Eidolons is your Eidolons have to attack 6 times. So basically, against TA, I have to move them around so she can't sideblade them. I have to kind of juke the sideblades as much as I can, make it difficult for her to play the lane. And then if Undying actually contests the Eidolons, he'll kind of just die. And that's exactly what you see here. The TA is going to go for the Eidolons. She will get some XP and gold for that, but it's not really that big of a deal. She put some pressure on me, but I rushed a magic wand and an urn, and so it's very easy for me to heal up to basically full HP as we continue to get the wave back. And you can see, this is the power of the lane. It's just because TA always has to walk up and always has to put herself in a position of aggression, because the lane is next to my tower, I have 22 CS and 8 denies. To be fair, I don't think I actually have 22 CS. I think a lot of them are Undying zombies. But either way, you get the point, right? We've managed to keep the lane back for so long, and the Tiny has griefed so many creeps, and I've griefed so many creeps, that the TA, even which is considered a counter matchup to Enigma, just isn't. And honestly, yeah, I really don't think TA counters Enigma Tiny or Enigma Marcy. These heroes that can toss her under tower or at least threaten it, it's just not, I don't know, it's just not a problem. It just doesn't really feel like much of a problem. This TA didn't do a good job of contesting my Eidolons. I feel like she should have pressured them a lot more, but it's besides the point. From there, when you're playing Enigma, it's pretty good to shove the wave. You can, like, later on into the lane, once you have, like, level 3 Eidolons. And the main reason why is your Eidolons get so strong that you can easily farm the lane and farm the large camp, and you can snowball your game. Me pushing the wave does kind of give them the opportunity to play the lane, right? Because I am shoving it under their tower at the end of the day. But it's not really a big deal, right? It's not much of a problem. I also buy mana boots here. The reason why I like to buy early mana boots, and sometimes you can even do it before Urn, I thought I would take quite a bit of pressure from the Tombstone and the TA side blades, so I thought rushing the Urn was a little bit better. But instead, you can often just rush the mana boots, and they're really great to rush. I even didn't have to upgrade to wand. I could have just bought a stick. I even think I should have just bought a stick and not completed my wand, and potentially have rushed mana boots, with the reasoning being that I can give mana to Tiny, so he can spam avalanche toss combos on the TA or on the Undying and help me get kills. And so anytime you're laning with a Marcy or a Tiny, you can buy early mana boots and put pressure. And it's really great because if you don't buy mana boots, it's pretty hard to cast Black Hole. Like, you'll always just be out of mana, even with Urn mana regen, you'll just be out of mana. Now this game, I have no clue what's happening. This Timbersaw is, is 5k net worth. He took the top tower, he's level 9, he's got 3 kills. So we have to make the disciplined play here and just dodge. In this game, even though we did very well in our lane, shutting down what I would argue is a counter matchup, as well as an Undying, which is a big win when Undying doesn't win his lane. The hero isn't that bad in the mid game. It's like annoying, but it's not that bad. All right, so we shut down the Undying, we shut down the TA. And now, instead of fighting into this Timber, which I might have done in the past, I've learned to be like, okay, I can't fight this guy whatsoever. He's gonna kill my Eidolons. I have to settle. I have to understand that this is the case. I ping my team to come in, I ping the DP, and then I kind of just trust in them. Like, this is a bit of a risk. I should have earned him as well, but I make the confidence play. I black hole him, and once again, it is a risk because it is a DP. She does have, you know, obviously those 2 charges, but we were able to take her down, right? And that's really huge. It's a really, really nice kill for my co-op. Also, it's going to bait some rotations to the mid lane, which is going to open up the map for my Drow, right? So I was very happy to make this play. I'm bringing the attention away from the Timber. I don't want to fight in the Timber. I don't want to get close to Timber whatsoever. My team has no answer for Timber. Quap, especially without ulti now, does nothing to Timber. Tiny doesn't really threaten Timber. Drow definitely doesn't. Chen definitely doesn't. My hero barely does previous to Vessel. And so we'll have to dodge this guy as much as we can. On the note of dodging him, what do you think I'm going to do now? Right? With that information that I'm giving you here, what do you think I'm going to do now? Timber's mid, what am I going to do? I'm going to run bottom. Yeah. So I'm going to run bottom. I'm going to avoid him, pop my Urn, and now I'm going to look to shove the wave as fast as I can. I see them diving mid. Will I respond to mid, guys? No. And the reason why I'm not going to respond to mid, and this is really key, the reason why I'm not responding to mid is I understand if I respond to mid, I'm not going to complete my Vessel, and I'm not going to open the map. My team's going to get closed in on their base. The enemy team is going to be able to kill the creep wave right here and then return back to the mid lane. If they kill the creep wave right here, they can immediately connect to mid and shut down the map. They can prevent my team from doing anything, getting anywhere. But if I clear bottom and I take a bit of a risk, even running down the lane to some extent, I can put my team in a position where we can dodge. Now, I play this poorly. Obviously, I get caught out. That's not that's not what you want to do. I should have assumed they were running towards me, made Eidolons and chilled. I also could have TP'd earlier and I might have lived. I TP'd really late. I just wasn't paying attention. This was just very bad map positioning because I easily could have lived if I was slightly faster, for sure. But I don't mind this play. In fact, I like this play overall. But yeah, it's really not that bad, right? Because you can see the end result of this is this guy who had a horrible lane, right? Like TA didn't have a great lane. This guy had an even worse lane. They had equally bad lanes. And, you know, Drow doesn't farm as fast as TA, so Drow being as farmed as TA is definitely a huge win. So even though I died bottom, which wasn't great, I think the concept there is the most important part. And honestly, the net result of me getting out bottom and baiting the enemy team towards bottom is really key. We found a nice Undying kill here. And once again, I'm looking to spread out the map a bit. I don't have Black Hole. I do have my Vessel and we can look for a kill. So with the Vessel charges, I told my team, hey, we can be a little bit confident here. We knew the Undying was dead. We knew they might split up a little bit, but we don't find anything. Not a big deal. So I'm going to look to get back to the bottom side of the map. All right, we're going to try to take the tower. I felt a little bit weird about this play. I was like, I don't know if we're stronger than them. This is a bit sus. The enemy team played it really poorly. I'm not going to lie. They just this is their support. They brought in both of their supports first, so they lost both their supports right off the bat. And then I think they lose the Tombstone to follow, right? So they lose everything. Did I pop my mana boots here? I hope I do. Yeah, I do. Okay, nice. Gave the draw some mana. That's actually really key that I didn't forget to pop. But now we're going to see a nice little fight here. I think I make the really good play of just reacting with my Vessel. A great Vessel game for obvious reasons. Counters TA Refraction, but most importantly, counters the Siphons, the DP, and the armor, the reactive armor from Timber. But in this fight, I told my team, hey, we can turn, right? I'm kind of paying attention to our resources. I'm like, I have Black Hole, Drow has multi-shot in 2. Chen isn't really strong at this point. He actually does nothing, but I'm like, we kind of have spells. So I tell my team like what I'm gonna do. I'm like, hey guys, go back in, right? Like go back in. And it's very important that you communicate these things. Like that's why being in a good mood when you're playing in solo queue is so key. Because you don't need to direct your whole team's movements. You just need to give your team a vibe. Do we want to fight or do we not want to fight? This is the most important call you can make in solo queue. Making anything more advanced than that is hard and often isn't gonna work. But like Roche and fight or don't fight is very key in my opinion. So yeah, fight breaks out here. DP kind of wastes a bunch of Siphon charges. I hit a really nice Black Hole on the 2. That just was, just worked out, perfect placement. And that's a huge turnaround fight for us. 2k net worth swing right there. And the game turns around as Quap is actually farming the entire time, which is pretty funny. But our Quap is farming the entire time, so the game completely swings around as they TP back in, and actually I think they die. No, okay, the Timber gets out. So they TP back in and we bait the Timber to bottom again. So the enemy team went from having good map control to we forced them to fight us, and they actually messed up and they took the bait and they TP'd in 1 by 1. And they thought like, oh, we're so strong. We have this Death Prophet Exo, we have this Timber, but he's not that tanky yet. I don't really love his item build. I guess I get it, but I don't know. Either way, the point is that we're able to spread out the map, and you can see now Black Hole down, same thing. I'm gonna look to spread out the map, get the lanes in, make sure that I'm avoiding 5-on-5s. And it's not that I can't fight at all, right? I can, I have a Vessel, I have max Q, I'm useful. I'm like very, very strong actually, even without Black Hole. It's not necessarily that I can't fight. It's just that I want to spread out the map. I want to get my farm. I also completed a full Vlad's at this point, which is pretty key, right? It's a really, really, really nice timing, and we can fight around that as well. So here, I think this is a great clip of just understanding Black Hole as a spell. The main threat at this point in the game is who? So it's either DP if she has Exo, which she didn't at the time. At least I assume she didn't because she used it bottom. I guess it is coming back up soon, to be fair. But TA is a big threat, right? This guy hits extremely hard. He's on his Deso timing. I checked his items. I knew that was the case. Right, so I was very afraid of this guy. I guess the bigger threat, actually, to be fair, is the DP with the ulti. But I was definitely very afraid of the TA. So the two big threats, TA and DP. And so if I can get a full duration Black Hole off on either of them, I'm probably going to do it. And the only thing that cancels this game is Timber Yules, which was just used, and DP Silence. So if those are used, then I can go in, right? I can go hard. And so I don't know if I necessarily knew DP Silence was used, but I did know that she blinked out here. And I saw my Quap blinked in. I was like, okay, my Quap blinked in. This TA is a big kill. My Drow's in position. She can hit him. So I went for the Black Hole. I don't know if it actually ends up saving Quap or not. I mean, if Quap lives here, it 100% saves her. Yeah, okay, 100% saved her. Because the Quap was about to get Deso melded. She was dead. She was a 4th HP. She's dead. So it actually ends up saving my Quap as well. The lack of greed in the Black Hole makes a big difference here. We get a nice Vessel onto the DP. And he kind of gets shredded. I don't know if he dies here. No, yeah, he does. Oh no, he gets to blink out. Oh, that was so unfortunate. But crazy little fight there. Really nice Black Hole in my opinion. Just good positioning for my team overall. And we're really taking advantage of the fact that we're like this really hard death ball timing, right? This really hard death ball comp. And I think we're playing pretty well around that. And on the note of making calls, like once again, I mean, this was actually a much more advanced call that I want you guys to learn about. So we're pushing, well, we're not pushing anything, but we're looking to fight mid. We have like tiny toss back. My Quap goes in like a psycho or whatever. But we were looking to make a toss back play. We couldn't find it though, right? They had Plague Wards, they have like Chakram spam, they have traps from TA. It's like very hard for us to sneak up. So I call my team to back and smoke here. I'm like, go get the wrap, right? We also have a ward in their triangle. You can see it in their triangle. And we can, if the enemy team thinks we disengage, we can then go to the triangle and get a kill. So I actually said the smoke, I think I said the smoke towards the triangle, I'm not sure. But funny enough, they place a Plague Ward and it becomes daytime, which gives us a huge smoke advantage. Smokes are good in the night if you're in an open area, but if you're playing around high grounds, they're actually kind of better in the daytime. And so that's what happens here. We see a blink in from the DP, right? Big mistake, obviously, in his part. He just kind of forgot that, well, he assumed we just backed, right? He didn't think like, oh, we're on the rune, but he would have died regardless. Even if he walked up to the rune and tried to blink out, he would have died. The Tiny was in position. And now we can look to transition that into a Roche. And this is about understanding your team's strengths and kind of making calls around it. So my smoke around the pit is very intentional. We tried to take the Roche earlier, couldn't get it. We got too low fighting them around it. It was fine though, we got a net worth advantage from the fight. However, now because we get the smoke kill around the pit on a key kill, you know, a key target in the DP, we can turn it back into another Roche fight. However, we're communicating by the time he makes the good call here, hey, I want to jump, right? I want to look. And I agree with him. I'm like, hey man, go. You know, be confident, go. And so he's going to jump in. Makes a really nice call. Good play on Tiny's part. We get a really nice Midnight Pulse, which is going to kind of zone out the backline or at least chip them down. We also have the Wraith Pact on the backline as well. And so we're just kind of chipping down their backline. Like, look at this TA. Right, just from Midnight Pulse, the Wraith Pact, and the Vessel, she's going to be half health. And that puts her in a horrible position because she doesn't heal. Right? She's not healing at all. And so she's just ticking down to the Vessel. Just ticking out, ticking down. And it's also breaking her refraction here. I don't know what my Quaff's doing. Quaff was on crack this game. That's all I have to say, but it's fine. We turn it into a Roshan, right? Really nice, clean transition into the Roshan. We get another toss back, and it's just a really good sequence where we get Aegis on Drow. And this is key because the enemy team doesn't have good T-push. They don't have good D-push. It's very hard for them to defend their towers. Like, who's gonna walk up and do it? You might be like, oh, Timber. Yeah, but we have Midnight Pulse, Vessel, Drow hits super hard, and he doesn't really have an armor item, so he even bought Kaya, so this guy is actually mad squishy. He doesn't have a real defensive item besides Yules to buy a little bit of time, but he can't really frontline, right? He's not running into a Vlad's Drow, right? Or like a, you know, just a Drow in general. And so we're gonna look to push mid here. Unfortunately, I think we didn't go high ground. Pop another Mana Boots on our Drow, but yeah, we find another toss back onto the DP here. I think he lives actually. Yeah, unfortunately he lives. I feel like we misplayed a bit. The Drow kept gusting the tossbacks. I didn't even know that was a thing, but he did it like 8 times in a row. It's crazy. And now we're able to get to the high ground. We pop the drums on Chen. And I think we take a Rax here because it's just hard for them to run into us. I also bought Aether Lens. I'm personally just a huge fan of Aether Lens on Enigma. I already had the Mana Boots because you might be like, oh, just buy a Blink. It's the same cost, right? And it is like literally almost the same cost. However, with Mana Boots, it's 800 gold cheaper, which is super notable because I wouldn't have Blink completed, right? I wouldn't have Blink in this fight, but I will have Aether, and that can be the big difference. That can be a big difference, right? And Aether is just a great item on Enigma. It's so good. It helps you increase Vessel from further away, Malefice from further away, Midnight Pulse. You can poke without overextending and being in the cast range or attack range of many heroes, and that's a big deal. It also turns into Octarine later on, which eventually, if the game goes long enough, you super want an Octarine. Right, so I'm happy to buy it here, and we just get a casual Malefice from really, really far away and a Midnight Pulse that's going to zone out the backline and actually just chunks the Undying. This is why I'm such a big, I mean, I always stress this when I'm playing Enigma, but like Midnight Pulse is basically your best spell, right? As the game progresses, it's like your best spell because this guy gets Avalanche and then he's like in a bit of a Midnight Pulse and gets hit by a multi-shot and he's 1 HP. Now, that's the crazy thing about our heroes. We have so much poke, and when we have poke like this, right, we have the tiny tossback, the Drow poke, the Quap poke, and my hero, I'm really happy to buy Aether because I don't feel like I need to blink in. I don't have a BKB anyway, so like I might get DP silenced. And so I'm just like, okay, I can play the backline. I bought 2 aura items, and I usually wouldn't do this. I almost never recommend this build. I recommend going towards Aether into BKB or Blink BKB or BKB Blink, something along those lines. But I just felt like with my team comp and the fact that I have Tiny to initiate, right? I have a hard initiator in Tiny, so I don't really need to go in first ever. And then I have this like Death Ball comp, right? I have a Drow who I can just sit next to and protect. And it's such a damn good Wraith Pact and Vessel game. I usually won't buy both, but man, is it a good game for both of them. Vessel, I talked about it earlier, just counters heals and shit. And then most importantly, Wraith Pact. Why is that good this game? Well, they don't really have a high attack speed hero. Even TA doesn't kill Wraith Pact that fast. And it's a hard counter. It's a giga hard counter to Timber and DP because neither of them click Wraith Pact efficiently. And both of them just don't buy BKBs early, right? I mean, DP's getting it eventually, but I've had Wraith Pact for a while now. And unless she rushes BKB, everything she's doing gets reduced by 35% and she's not killing the Wraith Pact. Or is it 30%? It's 30%, okay. So you get the point, right? It's just one of those items that hard counters heroes like Timber and DP who jump the backline and don't want their damage reduced, right? And can't kill this Wraith Pact. They just can't kill it. And so it hard counters these heroes. So I really felt confident in this build. I felt that I didn't need to initiate. I could just be this annoying Vessel that hard counters the enemy team. I even decided to take this Eye of Vizier this game, which is kind of a weird item because it crushes your mana pool. It's actually brutal, but I didn't think I'd have Mana Promise this game. It's not like I have Refresher or anything like that. So I could just poke with the Vessel and the Malefice from just disturbingly far, and you'll see that come into play. All right, in this next fight, the TA makes a beautiful play to cancel my Black Hole. I didn't Like, I had such good cast range, I'm like, even if it gets canceled by DP, who I thought actually initially canceled it in the game, I'd still get off like 2 seconds. So I go for a black hole. I knew it would hit 2 here. Obviously I was trying to get all of them. They were so clumped. And look at the cast range, right? With the Aether and the Vizier, I don't even have to get close, right? I mean, look at this black hole. I'm not even close, right? And I hit 2, but unfortunately the TA had a shard. And so she silenced me. That was pretty crazy. I was like, what? But either way, all I have to do now is get down my Wraith Pact, and yeah, you can see it just destroys Timber. Right, like my build just completely annihilates DP and Timber. And it does cause an issue where I don't have BKB, and so black holing's hard, but I can just be patient. The thing about the cast range is you just be patient, right? If you're gonna go this build or even consider it, it's about being patient. Even there, I might have black holed a little bit too early. To be fair, I didn't consider the TA trap, so I'm not too mad about that, but you get the point, right? I even could have had a bit more patience, a bit more discipline, and just focused on getting the Wraith Pact down earlier and some more vessels, because I actually was slow on the Wraith Pact that fight, I will admit. And the thing is, in low MMR, this build's even better because people don't really buy dispels. They get really greedy and they just don't. Like, you know what I mean? They just don't. And so, like, for instance, when I go on the Timber here with this build, like, look at my cast range, right? All the other Enigma would have to be like right here to do this, right? You'd literally have to be next to the Timber, and it would get you killed. But instead, I can do my combo. And if he couldn't dispel this, like, to be fair, I was trying to force out his Euls. I didn't realize he had Lotus, so that's pretty bad on my part, because he can just easily dispel it, low cooldown. But either way, like, this Midnight Pulse Vessel combo, if you put it on someone with Malefice, will deal at least a third of their HP, if not half, just from, like, Giga cast range. And you can see, every single tick of the Midnight Pulse is gonna do 176 damage to the DP. That's insane, right? Every single tick. Now, she's healing, but people don't realize that they're standing in it. They're just dying, right? Like, they're just straight up dying. This guy's refraction is getting broken. The Undying's gonna walk back into it and start ticking to it. It's just one of those abilities that has stupid impact and people don't even realize. I just love talking about it. It's like, look at this black hole cast range. Look at where I'm black holing this guy from. It's crazy. It's good though. It's crazy, but it's good. And yeah, we can just keep poking, more vessels coming out. And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully you learned quite a bit about like dodging the Timber, making moves around the map, understanding like who you threaten and when, right? I knew on the vessel timing I'd have more kill threat, and we kind of enabled that to take the bottom tower, take a really good fight, hit a really good black hole, had a lot of patience on that black hole in the bottom fight, and that really paid off because I understood I don't want to overcommit, don't want to get DP silenced, I don't want to hit a black hole with no follow-up. I waited till they overcommitted, I waited till the Timber chained in, for the DP to extend, and the Drow was in a really clean position to take that fight. But alright, thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace!
And that's all, but remember, before you leave, before you tune out, subscribe to the Game Leap website where we are going to help you get to the next rank. If you're stuck, click the link down below, and I'm out. Peace!